I'm gonna try this once and once only. Hi everyone, let's talk about Moses Sumney. California singer, songwriter Moses Sumney. This is his second album over here, and he's being pretty ambitious with this album. It is a double disc album, but it doesn't last over 70 minutes. It's just about 65, and he decided to release this album in a very interesting way. In bits and pieces and sections, there was a part 1 to this album that was released on its own, containing all of the songs in the first disc. And now we have the second part of the album, which had some of my favorite moments on this record, specifically the track Me in 20 Years. Amazing ambient pop and art pop song, which isn't too far off from what Moses is doing. It is a very progressive track that has these amazing and lavish strings that are added towards the back end of the track during the grand crescendo. And Moses Sumney's vocal performance is quiet yet powerful, all coming together for something that sounds amazingly epic and monumental while not doing a lot at all. I think that's where he works the best. I think that's where he performs the best. And on this album, he tries to do that same style over and over and over again. There are also other times he kind of deviates from that sound of these lavish, organic, and lush songs that are very simple and stripped back to sometimes songs that are more involved, like the track Cut Me or VIRILE, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, as well as CONVEYOR. Most of the time it works well for Moses, other times it kind of falls flat for me, and this record as a whole actually feels a little bloated to me. For one, you have these interstitial moments on this album. They're almost like interludes between one track and the next. For example, the track Boxes, as well as Jill Jack, also, and. And there is this theme of isolation on this record. There's this theme of being islanded. Maybe it was Moses Sumney's theme going into this album before the whole quarantine thing happened. Maybe it's a cool coincidence, I don't know. But whatever it is, I feel like the concept of this album isn't fully realized. It definitely could have been better, in my opinion. However, the songs that we do get on this album are pretty good. For one, the track VIRILE is a heavy but lush art rock track with a grand presentation and a beautiful vocal performance from Moses Sumney. He actually delivers a few different vocal performances on this track. It all comes together so well and so amazing. It's a song that is so damn good. Then you get the melodic and neo-soul tinged Cut Me. I think what really works for this track is the subtlety of the song and the pace that it moves at. It's not too fast, but it's more of a rhythmic progression rather than a fast beat. The track COLOUOUR, I don't know how to pronounce the name of this, but the track has these amazing horn hits. They build on top of one another to this amazingly lavish song that Moses doesn't even come into the latter half of the song, but it's still engaging from that time he's not on. And vocally he does well on this track too. You also get the psychedelic folk inspired Polly, which is one of the few songs on this album where the singer-songwriter element of Moses Sumney comes through. The singer-songwriter elements of this album happen more in the second disc of this album compared to the first, but when they happen, they are a really beautiful addition to the track as a whole. And speaking of the second disc of this record, I wish it wasn't so, I guess, tedious. There are some beautiful songs in this second disc, but there are some moments that just kind of feel like they drag on for me. Like the track Lucky Me or Bless Me as well, and the two interstitial moments on this second disc don't really do much for me either. And they kind of feel placed in a weird way, and they don't really feel all that important. And not to forget the lowlights on the first disc, because there are a few duds in my opinion. The 7th track on the album is the longest and the most tedious. The instrumental is bare, it's minimal, but to the point where I kind of wander off and I think about other things instead of being interested and focused on this song. Neither Nor is another example on this album where the song doesn't really captivate me enough for me to be interested. And I just feel like this record did not need to be so long. I kind of had a problem with aromanticism where the album on itself sounded really good, but it was just too short of breath. This album feels too long. And there are some beautiful moments on this album, don't get me wrong. I love the strings, I love the horns, I love the amazing ambience that works their way underneath some of these tracks. And Moses' vocal performance on nearly all of these songs, or all the songs that he's featured on, are great. But I'm left wanting more while simultaneously wanting less. Because I feel like he could definitely hone in these ideas to a nice and refined album, but I also want more of a vocal performance. I want more of a epic and lavish instrumentation. I want some ambition on some of these tracks, and I do get ambition on some of these tracks, but not all of the songs. Still, it's not a bad album. I do appreciate what Moses has done on this record. For me personally, it is the strongest of B's. However, I am curious to know, what are your thoughts and opinions on this album down below? Let me know what albums you want me to review next, and that is it. Leave a like, comment, share, do whatever you want. Let me know how I can improve future videos down below. Remember, this is only my opinion, because music is subjective.